Hi and welcome back to the probably last episode of my solo playthrough of the Adventures of Conan. Yeah, this was quite a mouthful. It seems rules-wise I was more or less okay, so thanks so much to Jack who immediately watched my video and left me some very helpful comments. So again, appreciate that a lot. But I think with that being said, we should be pretty much good to go. Again, I'm relatively certain this might be the last video of the series. Maybe I will simply play it to the bitter end. There are still 3 more cards, so this will automatically trigger the end of the game. But again, I feel that the achievement track might actually end the game here for us. Okay, so I think the first thing to do is to draw the event card for this round. And this is another opportunity. How cool is that actually? So this is the ship and the combat one. Zingara to Ophir. And again, we are really close to the starting location, and also the destination location isn't too far off. So with 1, 2, 3 steps, we could actually make it here. And this would actually progress both of these into the King Conan. So wow, that would be 6 more points here. Not complaining. Right now, the rivals are still in the lead. Let's see what we can do about that. But yeah, we have to bring out one of these fate tokens to Aquilonia, which is here. And I think we are allowed to grab that right off the bat. Wow, that is huge. I think I get it. And as for a bonus, we are collecting, I think this is only 1 coin here. But yeah, why not? As for the starting player, this needs to flip. This might be a thing on all these opportunity cards, which means Tothamon is getting the freebie, their freebie die basically this round. But Alvazar will also buy basically 2 dice this round. And I almost forgot, they already made it onto stage 3 on the plot track. Gain 1 bonus die, and I believe this also goes to the starting player this round. Wow, they're really rolling an awful lot of dice. We get a freebie on our own, and I will certainly spend the 3 coins for yet another of those generic dice. Let's do that. Now they're really going to roll an awful lot of dice actually on it during this plot phase. Wow. I mean, look at this. This is dice fest. And it even can't go in there. I really have to order or put these things in order now. But I believe they simply made it. We only have 2 hand symbols here. We have only 1 tankard, and we have a hell of a lot of these asterisks, wildcards. 1. Let me see how we can do that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. No, they absolutely made it. So yes, they will progress once more. They will gain 3 points for that, which means I believe in this case the starting player gets the coin from that, which is Tothamon for his next round. This could be important. And then again, lowest achievement and cycle all rogue encounters. Yeah, that is tough. Their lowest achievement is this or that. It doesn't really matter too much, I believe. Yeah, rolling. I will simply follow my logic to go now from top down to bottom. They gain something from both of those. Yes, in theory, this could be 2 coins, but it could also be a nothing. So I think I will do that, simply awarding the ally in this case with 1 coin here. Right now that doesn't do anything for them. The bigger problem now is that we are cycling all rogue encounters. Rogue encounters is a term especially from the solo mode. Basically all the encounters that do not match any of the face-up adventures are considered rogue encounters. Tothamon's normal ability actually is allowing him to do that, I think 1 encounter per round. This could already be bad, but I think doing this now for all these rogue encounters, and I think they really are all rogue encounters because yeah, none of the adventures are frosty. The gold one I think is right now also a rogue encounter. That's how I would see it, because right now I'm not fulfilling it. Could be another one of those edge cases if this is a rogue encounter. For now I would say it is a rogue encounter. Yes, it doesn't really match any of those, so let's get rid of all of them. We do that 1 by 1, so this goes away. We are drawing 2 encounter cards, that's the problem, so we are not just just replacing it with one. And then we have to pick one. There are a lot priorities, but I think in this case I will make things simple. This is a zombie warriors one. I think there is a tiebreaker when they have more orangey than theirs, because these are dice which I have to really use my orange dice for my character dice. So in this case, yeah, I think we will totally do that. This is getting discarded, and I will do the leftovers or the two other ones now off camera. And those are the new encounters. This one here, we dodged the bullet. I've drawn two which do not really apply. In this case, again, you choose the one which has more of these orange symbols. Down here in the tentacled one, Cthulhu is back. So we definitely will see an encounter, because at least this anyone will be triggered unless I am somewhat able to get rid of it. And here I may have a chance to dodge the bullet. Let's see. But okay, this was already a rather nasty plot phase actually. Let's roll our dice. And see what we got. We have 1x here. Again, I could use my tokens, and I will have to check actually if we can use them or not. I will certainly place this die on top of this. We have another die here. We do have a foot, and I think I will be able to use this foot actually here. So we already have, come on. We have already managed this, so we need one of those, and I can still re-roll those dice. But of course I already made it. That is cool. We are still looking for the bonus, which is a coin. I think that's not the end of the world. No, we can re-roll them a second time, and here's the star. Awesome. So I think that is cool. So we definitely will make it. We get a coin. That's 2 for next round. I certainly take that. We are getting 3 plus 3 points, 6 points in total. Cool. So we are moving from 24 to 30 and get to roll the local kingdom die, which in this case is the green one. And we get our foot token back, of course. Nice. Let's draw our main action card for this round. And that's an easy one, and that's a good one. Wits and Steel, I know this one. Conan may discard 1 fate token to focus any character's primary die. Not sure if I do that after I have rolled or not. Doesn't really matter too much, because I get to choose. And here, if at the end of the main phase Conan is behind the rivals on the scoring track, place this card on top of the main action deck if this effect has not already been triggered. And this is a nice one. But this also means this will extend the gameplay, right, by another round. Yeah, because we are not getting rid of it by 1 round, because we will only trigger this effect down here once. Let's roll our dice, and again, I'm not sure. Ooh, I'm relatively happy with the result actually. The only one might be this one here, and I think I will spend one of these, I don't know, maybe barrel tokens here. Yeah, let's spend one of those to turn, oh no, this is the wrong one, to turn this one into one of those. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. In order to speed things up, I already rolled the 2 dice for our rivals, and I also forgot to award Tothamon with a bonus here, so he has now 2 coins to spend next round. I'm not so sure what I will be doing this round, and I'm also not sure if I will move towards an adventure. If they don't move to an adventure, they will simply advance on the plot track. Well, this is also something which isn't entirely great, but I could really move 1, 2, 3 spaces here. This would move me down here into the King Conan track, and also on this, it's basically both of those down here would be amazing actually. And all of the others mean, yeah, we will deal with an encounter, so we will most likely lose a die. I'm relatively certain about that. These encounters can be quite brutal, but if things go well, I could have 4 moves available actually, but we would need to make it into one of these adventure locations. So the thing is, let's still try that. I still feel like it. So we are spending 1 die from our ally here, of course. This one, so this is spent, so we pick up this opportunity. And as for the response, they're either spending a foot or a tankard. They do have a tankard here, so we resolve them left to right. Roll the local kingdom die, which is now the blue one, and they get a piracy token. Okay, this is something they could use to progress actually. Then let's continue to move. I will use this tankard here to move, and I will... do I want this actually? I am well equipped here. Then I would be also potentially losing some dice, and this could be all kinds of nasty stuff. Or do I want to do this here first? Because this could also help us, actually. I don't have a thievery, actually. But I do have the power of Bell with me. Change one of your results to thief. And I think I may want to do that just to progress me, because I am there. Let's use him. So we will hand him out, but means he is still available. So if there are other effects which would grant me a god, Bell is now in the game. And in this case, I will... Oh, I think I have to do this, right? Yeah, I will change this into that, which means I will spend this thievery to progress here on the thievery track. This gives me another coin. So I'm at 3 now. So I have returned the tanker that I was using before. So in this case, we are triggering this. Okay, we are doing a skill check, but they have to spend the sorcery symbol. For each success, gain 1 gold. Yeah, okay, this maybe wasn't too clever, actually. But now I know I will not take it back. We will do the skill check. First of all, they will have to spend this die here. And then we are rolling the remaining dice of Alvazar. This is not one of those skill contests. This is simply a skill check, basically. So we're only rolling their dice. In this case, they will gain 1 gold. So yes, they will be able to buy another die. And that's why I was a little bit confused originally. I thought I would be losing my dice, actually, but this was not the case because it was a normal skill check. So I'm not rolling my dice in this case. But okay, let's stay on target. We still have one of those symbols, so we are certainly moving. Yeah, that's a problem. We are moving back to Aquilonia here, I believe. Again, I could consider to move down here, and this would allow me to actually progress here. But no, I think I want to move in here. No, that's fine. So again, this is triggering their ability. They will roll the kingdom die again. And now as we are back in Aquilonia, it's the green one. They will gain one of these kingdom results. I really have an awful lot of these tokens. Unfortunately, I have to start using my own dice now to do the final. No, I think we are not a final move. 1 move, and now we made it into Oath here, basically the target for our opportunity. And that's a very nice one. So we are moving on Warrior and we are moving on the Piracy track. So we already made it into here. That's 8 points for each of those instead of the 10. So 6-point net gain. I take that. So again, we used the star, and I think Jack confirmed this now. The star is then treated as the symbol, but I believe now he ran out of these symbols, the ally here. Roll the local kingdom die. And again, I'm not 100% sure if this now counts as not trigger a reaction, but I think we did trigger a reaction because it's here. It's simply that they use their die. So I think in this case, we are okay. I'm not rolling the local kingdom die for him. Could be terribly wrong, but that's how I will rule it now. And I believe ultimately, I want to make it to an adventure location because otherwise they will advance on the plot track for free, and this would give them 4 points. And yeah, I think let's not do that. So we are spending our remaining wildcard die here to move into Corinthia, which means we will have to trigger this token here. And this, I think, just means I have to lose 2 of my fate tokens, which may not be the end of the world, actually. And I think we can get rid of this one, and we may also be able to get rid of the eye for now. The foot symbols are usually very helpful, so I think I will simply return both of those fate tokens. So this was actually quite all right. So we have dealt with this challenge token here. Cool. Again, in theory, we would trigger the local kingdom die. They're out of these dice, so we are not triggering anything. But now I have to be careful because we are dealing with an encounter. That's really one thing I almost forgot. I will, for my action, place 1 die here onto the encounter track. This is one of the reactions where they always get a reaction for that. So this is independent of the card, at least typically. So we start with Tothamon. They will place a die on here, which ultimately means I will be losing a die, and so will be the ally. And also Alvazar will place a die here as well. The question now really is, do I want to place more dice on this track? And I think I could do that by placing one of those dice on there. And I think I will do that. Now the encounter track is full, no one else can go there. I still think it doesn't trigger Alvasar's ability, and that's basically it. At least I think we still have our character die, which we can use for all kinds of stuff. But then again, using this character die would also add challenge token to each of these frosty locations, and I think this is not worth it. I would most likely use it for 1 coin, but I think I have enough coins, so no. I will simply pass. In theory, they would now place their remaining dice onto the encounter track. The encounter track is full. That is good news. But what is a problem? Tothamon still has 2 or more dice left, so his ability now kicks in. And I think we can do that right now, actually, as we still have a rogue adventure here, which is this one. This is really a pity. Let's see what comes out instead. And yeah, this is really bad. Wealthy, so this doesn't matter, but this is definitely not a rogue encounter. Again, no, I think it is actually. This is still a rogue encounter because it doesn't really, that's how you really have to rule it. It doesn't really meet the or the requirements of being whatever connected to one of these adventure locations, which still kick in. They're both rogue encounters, I believe, but then again, they will go for the, and that's really bad, for those that have the most amount of these orange ones. So I have to deal with 2 encounters this round. This sucks. So now for the first time, we will trigger an encounter, and we will start with a zombie warriors. We will go from left to right. This is not necessarily a bad one. This one really is. This one really is. The way how this works is this is the only time in the game where Conan would start this round, or this action phase, or whatever you want to call that, because Conan can now try to beat the encounter himself. The good thing is we have 2 of those symbols on the encounter track, and these are also the right color. So in this case, these need to be the character dice of Conan. So that is already very helpful. So we basically have to roll this 1 die. There is one catch though, because the foe has set 1 die on this, both the ally and I have to set 1 die aside for this phase. We are getting it back in theory if we are not getting wounded. So in this case, I think I will set this die aside for now. And for the ally, it doesn't matter too much. I believe they will go for, I think, also their character die for now. It's 1 die basically per foe, but we will do that for both Conan and the ally here respectively. And now we get to roll our remaining dice. I mean, we still have 3 dice, and we need basically 1 success here. The good thing is we have that success. So in theory, we ought to succeed, but of course I would prefer not to spend it. But we can use Conan's ability again, but I think as long as we have it, we will spend this die here. Again, these 2 dice, they will be here on this, so we have made, which means only Conan in this case is scoring 2 points from this card. It's really not great. In theory, there is a penalty, but from what I understand, this only is true for every player who failed the encounter before them, because Conan always goes first. My understanding is that neither the ally nor the foe will ever suffer the consequences here. In the next one, it's more likely we will actually get hit, and this is really brutal here. This is really brutal. But anyway, this token is gone. This card is gone. We will bring out a new one in a second. Now, this was really bad because we could be losing all of our tokens. These are really brutal. And honestly, this seems to be, that's bad when I stumbled upon these in my earlier plays, because they're, first of all, they're very difficult to make it right for Conan. Then they also grant you a lot of victory point, and they really usually have a very tough penalty here. And I think having basically all of those on the same card doesn't really work. Unless I'm really seeing things not straight here, I think it should be, if it's granting a high reward, then the penalty should be relatively low, for example. That would be my take, especially if it's also difficult to beat. Again, Conan, I think we cannot do it. We only have, we have 5 dice. In theory, we could make it actually. No, we can't. We can't actually make it because I think we don't have an eye on this symbol, right? Yeah, we do. Okay, we do. We do. But this means, yeah, I can roll the dice from this piece. So I think I will pull one off here now. So that is allowed. I can pull dice off here if I need it, because there is actually one eye. But I need to roll a 6 on this die because, yeah, I don't have the eye symbol here. I didn't think I would need it because of, let's say, the way how these encounters were. But now the world has changed. I mean, I can still roll stars like crazy on this piece. And again, Conan always goes first in this case. So let's see. And we have to assign the dice that we have. And I think that was a complete whiff. I think we have to actually assign this die here. We don't have to assign these dice. It doesn't matter if we're putting it here or there. For the other players, this no longer matters. And I think, yeah, these dice are simply spent. So we are absolutely losing this encounter here. Then the foe will roll their dice, which means they're rolling this. They have basically this symbol here, which is now either an eye or a sorcery symbol. Normally they would try to roll that if it wouldn't match anything, but it does match. Which means, okay, I think he might have made it, right? So let's see. This is that. This is the eye. This is the eye, basically. It doesn't really matter because it's a star. Yeah, this is this. Yeah, the foe was successful with this encounter, but this is not really unusual. So first of all, they will score 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Was there something underneath? No, it wasn't. Then we have to take a wound, which means the die we set aside will be left aside, basically. This die comes back, the die that we have used here, and we are losing all our tokens. I think that is really, really brutal, actually. But yeah, it is what it is. And they also get one token here. And I think it's any one token. They can't use the token to progress. And I think this is their farthest along. I will simply decide they will go for a piracy token in this case. No one else is losing stuff. This dreadful card is discarded. Let's bring out 2 new encounters. Okay, Guardian King and Hell Pack. So yeah, we will definitely see some encounters. Very unusual actually that we didn't see encounters for such a long time. I was simply lucky, but with these yeah, you have to deal with those. The next triggered phase is the adventure phase. We are at an adventure location here in Corinthia. Horror on Ascath Hill. And in this case, the foe will start. I mean, we still have some good dice. I think that was okay, that I was really able to beat this first adventure or first encounter. This, gosh, yeah, of course, he's always rolling these stars. How many stars are on this? Okay, there are 2. There are 2 stars on it, I believe. Okay, so it's not too unusual. I'm really surprised seeing that many stars. And because I just ran out of those, I will, I believe, assign this star here. And I'm now really deciding that I would give them maybe, say, I want the cards, I believe. I really do want the card. So I will assign another one of these from the foe here. Doesn't matter who is getting those points. And again, I'm only doing that because I'm completely out of these tokens. There would still have 1 token left. I think I wouldn't have done it this way, but I want the card. That is clear. So let's roll for the ally. And, ooh, okay, if I don't assign it now, they will most likely make it, right? We don't have any fate tokens. This is so bad. Honestly, I think I will do that. I will give them 9 points. Should I? Otherwise, I don't get anything. That's the problem. I have 2 of these dice. No, I think this time I will play it safe. Let's see. I will roll my dice and okay, I would have made it. That is something, but I still take it. I mean, that is fair. So the foe will start with 6 points. And again, it doesn't matter who's getting these rewards. So it's 39. They will gain an eye token in this case. There is 1. They can't use it. That's not too bad. The ally will get 1, 2, 3 points. And by the way, these things in a normal multiplayer game, this is also an end game trigger. This doesn't work here. And we are getting 3 points. 1, 2, 3, which gives us one of those tokens. At least we have a token which we can use with Conan's special ability. But we were able to get the card because I placed the last die on this adventure. This is really how I like this push your luck element, actually. And I think there's really not an awful lot that will happen at the end of this round, because we are both in a landscape where we can't progress on any of the achievement tracks. That alone is very cool, actually. And there's nothing on the card, on the main action card. The only thing that it says is at the end of the action phase is behind. We are basically putting this back on top. So I will do that right away. So that is cool. Yeah, absolutely. But we can now trigger the Corinthia card, and I will certainly move this token here, which would give us another 5 points. So that's 16, 21 points versus their 5. So this alone is definitely, that's why I thought, okay, maybe it's really worth it to give them more points right now. And okay, then scry 1, you may then move the token to an empty adjacent kingdom. And I believe I will peek at this, and then I can get it. Okay, that's a trap. I think I want to move the trap in here. I will leave it face up because I know what it is. I don't want to play a memory game here. Cool, 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 cool. We have to bring out a new adventure. And in this case, it's Nortime, all the way up here. Okay, next round. Let's see what event we are getting. It's another rites, which means we are bringing out more gods. Asura and Emir. Cool. Asura goes into Aquilonia, allows me to cycle 1, and Emir goes to Pictland, which is right next. Counter character result as a warrior. Yeah, I think these are always helpful, these god tokens, absolutely. We will flip this to the other side again. It's definitely green. This also means that Alvazar gets the bonus dice for this round. He's spending 1 coin to get 1 more, and the same is true for Tothamon. He will spend 1 coin. The first die cost them 1 to also buy an extra die. We get a bonus, or we get 2 bonus die, and I think we get 2 bonus dice basically from our tracks, from the plot track and the achievement track. And for 3 gold, we are also buying 1 die here. Then let's roll for the plots. Wow. That is massive. I have to reroll them both. I will, yeah, that's what it is actually. And now I have to make sense out of these. But I think, no, I think in this case, it's already a done deal. We have rolled 3 of these tankards. Their plot phase is done because these are not split results whatsoever. That was cool. But of course, we also have to roll for ourselves. This time rolling 7 dice. And okay, let's see. So this is blocked. This we can assign, and I think we will assign it here. So it does not count as a character symbol, actually. We need foot symbols. We have another sword symbol up here. So I will re-roll those 2, those 4. Let's see. Okay, that's another one of those. So that's already a problem. But we have made it here. The question is, do I want the bonus or not? Getting rid of 2 of their tokens is of course huge, but I also want to make it here. So I think I will stop here actually. I could reroll them both and hope for, there's character symbols on these 2. So I think let's not take the chances here. I will simply move down so we get 3 plus 3 points at 6 points in total. So overall, this definitely does work. Moving us to 41 points. Cool. Let's draw our main action card and act surprised. Yes, we were behind, which it's why this thing is tiered. Conan may discard 1 fate token to focus any character primary die. So this is something that we may want to do. Again, I'm not sure if I have to do that right now, but I will allow myself to roll the dice first. But ultimately, I don't really know if it matters actually. So let's see. And okay, now I basically have to see. What do I want? I want these symbols, but I think, honestly, I think I will do that. So I will spend this because I will lose it anyway, most likely. And I will change this piracy symbol, right? Yeah, we will change this piracy symbol to a star. No, character's primary die. Okay, this has to be this one. So I think I will do... okay, this doesn't work then. Okay, then I will make this one of those. Okay, that's a little bit limiting. Maybe, did I do that incorrectly last time? I hope not. If so, then sorry for that. That's a problem. Because we need 3 of these bags to move in here and we only have 2. Oh boy. Should I have done this then? Yeah, I think I should. Doesn't matter. Okay, first I will move in here using Alvazar's foot symbol. So this is spent. There is nothing here, but I need the symbol, basically, the thievery symbol. We already know the drill. They will do this, basically to spend their die to roll the local kingdom die, which is the yellow die. Okay, they gain 1 of these flag symbols. We really have an awful lot of these tokens now. And now will we start to spend this here to progress, because I'm in the corresponding land, to progress here. This gives me a gold, and I really needed this 1 gold coin. It was a bag, which means they are spending the sorcery symbol. They don't have one, but they will use this to reroll their dice here, and they are getting a coin for each success. I think in this case, these 2 count. They get a coin. Yes. Then I will do that again to progress 1 step further. Again, this kicks in. They do have a sorcery symbol again. So first of all, they will have to spend sorcery to reroll their remaining dice. And this case, oh, they get 2 more coins. I don't think it will matter the coins actually, because this is the final round and they will hold on to all of those. But now I think I messed it up. We need a flag to do what I needed to do. We can use the flag to gain the God token, and my plan was to gain this Bell's God token, change 1 of your results to thief. We don't have that. So what do we do here actually? But no, I'm good. Oof. We can deploy the die to do this as well. It's not just the top one here. So yes, oof, okay, gosh. So we will use... Does it matter? Doesn't really. Let's use, sorry, this die here to deploy a die. We will tribute to the gods, spend 1 gold. Here we are. And take a god token. Bell was deployed, so we can hold on to Bell. Nice. So we have spent this, but now we do have to trigger this, which means they will have to deploy spend 1 of their dice, add a challenge token to each frosty location. But again, I don't really think it will matter this game, because now I will use Bell's ability. So he goes back and we will change this into whatever, a bag symbol. I think it has to be this one here, but this allows us to move the final token into the King Conan. So we will end the game at the end of this round. Hooray. Okay, that was cool. We still have to be a little bit careful though, because there are still 2 nasty encounters here, which I believe if I stay where I am, have to resolve both in this case. I think we can't really do anything against that other than maybe preparing ourselves for the worst. So we are placing 1 die here. Now the ally will place a die from top down to bottom, I believe. So they will place their die here. And this means, wow, have I dodged the bullet? The foe can't spend any dice on this track. Wow, turn order really did matter in this case. This was amazing. This doesn't really trigger anything on the action card though. So I could still go on actually, because yeah, absolutely. I will do this, which means they are doing that. Oh, that is so cool. I think we're in an okay shape for the adventures now, for the encounters now. That is cool. And I think with the last die, I'm not going to do anything. I will pass. Next, their abilities would kick in, but we don't have any rogue encounters. All encounters that are out there do have somewhat matching the adventures that are out there, which is cool. We are not triggering Alvazar's ability because he doesn't have 3+ dice. So we will trigger the encounter track. The good thing is we are not losing any dice because the foe doesn't have any dice on. That's so cool. The player order in this case really worked out in our favor. So we're doing this from left to right. I believe, Hell Pack will be the first one. We're not triggering this one, but these 2 basically are being triggered. I don't have to roll as Conan because I have 3 swords on this, so we are completely fine in this case. Awesome, so we gained 2 victory points out of that. That is so amazing. Wow, this worked out to be quite okay. I'm pretty sure I'm cheating like hell. Yes, something went wrong actually. And then we do the same thing here. I think we were really lucky in respect to our encounters here in this case. Wow. This time I do have to roll. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone now. That's bummers, but I have 5 dice still at my disposal. We need basically 1 sword. Yeah, we have the swords. That is so cool. So we have 5 swords. We needed 4. So we are gaining 3 more points. That is so huge. 1, 2, 3, and we get to roll the local kingdom die here, and this could even help us. Okay, it's another thievery symbol. How cool is that? We can use it quite well. Awesome. In theory, we would now also replenish the encounters. It doesn't matter because again, it's the final round, but just to bring out some more lovely artwork here, we have the Guardian statue and the Great Golden Worm. Up next, we will have our adventure, our final adventure in Zamora here. We have to roll for the ally first. And again, I get to, it's another 3-pointer. Okay, let's see. I have to make some calls now. One thing I did notice now. Okay, the problem is the foe would have... yeah, they would have placed something on the encounter track. Oh gosh, I'm cheating like crazy, which means I would have 1 less die. This die wouldn't have helped them at all, but I would have 1 less die. I'm pretty sure for the first one I was okay, and maybe even for the second one. This one here. Okay, that is a problem. I think I have to somewhat correct that, because otherwise I really feel like cheating. I would have 1 less die. I only would have 1 die on the tail. This die I would have definitely placed onto the encounter track, and I would have lost 1 die. I would have set aside 1 of those dice, because again, for every die that the foe puts on, I have to lose 1 die. So in theory, I would have only rolled these 5 die. So I have to roll that again. I will do that now, because this could also mean I would be losing 2 dice now. I get 2 wounds and I would lose some points. I will do that now. I think I'm okay. Yeah, we had 2 from here. These are the 2 ones we needed. We have 2 ones here. So no, again, it's somewhat not correct, but I still think, yeah, I think we will keep it this way. So now we can get back to the roll here. They wouldn't have lost anything, so we don't have to correct that either. I get my die back, so I think overall that is what we are looking at. I certainly want to cover up this flag here. I also want to cover up those foot symbols here. And honestly, I'm still thinking of no. Do I want this card? I think I do want this card, because otherwise only the foe would score those points if they're going to make it. We are rolling the treachery die and we score 2 victory points. No, I think that is still okay. We will do that. Then we would be rolling for the foe. Let's see what they roll. I really apologize for all these things, but there's a lot going on in this game. I will not use those dice at all. I will simply roll my dice. And the main reason, because, yeah, these foot symbols, that's a problem. I don't want to lose this card. And wow, barely made it. Barely made it here. Wow, good that I made the call. But this means they are scoring, or the ally is scoring 9 points. So it's 51. There's a 2. Is this the right one? There's a 2 on any of these. I don't know. It's a 2. So they have 51 points. I will score only 1, 2, 3 points. The ally can still... Now we are doing all this end of round stuff. So this card is now final discarded. But again, it doesn't matter. So the ally can now cash in thievery symbols. They don't have any thievery symbols here, and they don't... That's the only track they could progress on. So I think this worked quite okay, actually. And up here, Tothamon also can't really progress on the track. Wow. So I think lowest achievement, we are maxed out. We are rolling the treachery die. I really don't know what this one is and it doesn't matter, but we are scoring 2 more victory points, which also moves me to 51 points here. And looking at the achievement track here, we are scoring 24 points versus their 5 points. So we are netting 19 points over them, which ultimately means I believe I may have won this game. And I'm almost certain that this is because of various rules misinterpretations I have done in this case. This was really almost a landslide victory. Again, in theory, even if I wouldn't have made this one here, I'm not sure if that would have really meant an awful lot. I would have been able to roll 1 success on this adventure, for example. And even without that adventure, the 19 points difference I was doing from the achievement track, I think this was huge. So maybe, yes, they would have gained 3 more points here, maybe some more points even here, but I already gave them 9 points out of this card. So I think maybe I am okay. I was playing on a very easy difficulty level, mind you. So I was basically only putting in 1 3 card here, and we don't have a 3 card remaining in that deck, so 3 sword symbols up here. You can even, let's say, bring out optimized main action cards for the foe. So I think they all come with 3 specific main action cards which you can use, and then this is really optimized to their special ability. So again, I was playing on a very easy difficulty level. And also Alvazar, he's really not the most difficult fella here. Yes, you can even play them on different sides. So on a different side, Alvazar have a different ability, only rolling 3 base dice, but he says Alvazar gains 2 victory points each time one of his dice is placed on the encounter track, which he is doing quite often actually. So again, a ton of replayability in this game, millions of ways how to play this game, and also billions of ways how you can mess up and miss some of the rules in this game. Again, that's a little bit on me. I think I have a good handle on the most part of the game, and ultimately, yeah, you have to enjoy the game. Don't worry about too much about every comma in the rules, but of course, in this kind of solo cooperative expand mode, you don't want to cheat, right? You want the challenge. But I felt challenged only this very last round, maybe the round before, maybe because of this Wits and Steel card that came out here. Maybe this really then turned things in our favor, and I think we were also extremely lucky not being bothered by an awful lot of these encounters. And even the 2 encounters we did encounter this last round were basically in our favor, right? They had only these sword symbols, which obviously works quite well for Conan. Let me know what you think about this game. I'm deeply in love with this game. I really like this one a lot. It's beautiful to look at. It has a nice feel to this. Yes, it's not really that kind of an adventure game, what you would do with Conan, but so far I never stumble upon any of these games that would make it feel. I'm still waiting for, I don't know, the Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror kind of game, or maybe Fortune and Glory reskin of Conan. I think this would really make it work, where you are really playing Conan, where you are really going through adventures. So you're still doing this, but this is not really an Euro game, but it really comes with a lot of, let's say, strategy and tactics around that. It's not this kind of adventure game. I think you know what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, really nice job. I like this game a lot and can't wait to bring it to the table soon again. And yeah, with that being said, apologies for all the mistakes, for all the goofs. Take my win with a big pinch of salt, with a big asterisk, but I still enjoyed the heck out of this game. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my next videos, and until then, bye bye.